Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the Couch Co-op Show, the greatest video game show in the world. I'm Ian, and tonight I'm with... Who am I with? Well,
Those people.
I got Dave, and I got Jared.
Hey.
Hello.
Aaron's supposed to be here, but who knows where he's at. Hey, we're back. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Couch Co-op Shows. All one word, no hyphen. And, yeah. How's everybody? We just saw each other yesterday.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Good. Just getting a nice drink of gin and tonic.
Oh, there you go.
Had a pretty good day. I'm getting a nice glass of water here.
I have the
Being a
bubbly
good
water.
boy. I had some eggnog with brown sugar bourbon in it earlier. That was pretty darn good.
It's Monday. I'm not drinking.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How to make
It's
your Monday
Monday.
miserable. Don't drink.
It's Tuesday, it's Wednesday, I'm drinking.
I wonder if Aaron's going to come. Is he going to make it? Probably not.
Oh,
Haven't heard from him today.
Pretty much been in a hole today.
yeah.
Just another day. Just another day in the pandemic.
Yep.
I
I've
did
just
vote
been
today.
parenting all day.
Did vote.
Oh, yeah,
our-
that's
our
on my
ballot
list of
went
things
into
to
the
do.
box.
My,
Yep.
my ballot's there on the table, I just haven't filled it out yet.
Yeah.
Voting Trump all the way.
All the way.
Of course you are.
A complete Republican bill. Just full
Yeah.
Republican Party. Sounds good. So today I thought instead of just rambling on about nothing, we'd do a top 5 since people seem to love top 5s. And I thought we shouldn't do our top 5 games of the generation yet, since the generation isn't technically over. Cyberpunk is still out there, you know. So
Yeah, I just pre-ordered my copy today.
So I thought, well, we could probably still do top 5 underrated games of the generation, because there's a lot of games that I'm sure that got
Yeah.
kind of blew past and people didn't pay attention to, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny how a game can come out at the wrong time and just get, or, you know, another game will overshadow it, even though it's a great game.
Yeah. A lot of big games coming out in the next few weeks.
I had
no doubt.
I had a huge list I came up with. It was hard for me to like kind of, what do I
I had a
not put on the
pretty-
list?
I had a pretty good list, and then I narrowed it down. Like, I had to make sure I didn't get confused between games that I don't think a lot of people have played versus underrated games.
Like, yeah, just like a really great. Oh, well, that could be one of the. Though that could be a bullet point of it.
Mhm.
I don't know. I went with games I really, really liked that I'm pretty sure no one played.
Nobody played any of the games I put on.
Well, I know you guys played some of them.
I think I might have played some of them. I feel like this generation, you know what really made up for it was the PlayStation Plus games. Because I've played a lot of games that I probably wouldn't have bought that I've really enjoyed that were like, 70% as.
Yeah.
I don't think the 70%. I think I would have given them a higher score, but the Metacritic reviews are.
I didn't look up reviews or anything like that. Just games. Like, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and these are games that weren't mentioned beyond launch, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another good thing is some games have hype, don't they? And and then they just die.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty
Well.
quickly, it seems.
Well, who wants to go first?
Well, I'm about to switch devices, so I'll let
Oh, he's gonna-
one of you go first.
Ooh.
Go for it, Dave.
My computer's up, and hopefully I don't mess everything up.
Well, these are in no particular order, but I thought I'd start with Infamous Second Son.
Okay.
That was one of the first games I played on the PlayStation 4, and I really don't think it gets enough love. It was a great game. One of the trophies was playing through it twice, and I actually did
Yeah.
play through the whole game twice. That's how much, and it wasn't like pulling teeth. That was how much I actually enjoyed it. I liked how you opened up different like skills and superpowers as time went on.
I just could not get into that game. I tried. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that game really grabbed me, and I
played the
I
first
know they
two, the original.
they
The
made
other two.
Dying Light after that, but I've not seen anything about a sequel.
Well, that's because they were doing Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, I'll
That's-
take that.
That is true.
That's the same. That's the same studio.
That's not underrated. That's not underrated. That's a good game.
Yeah, that was a good choice. I don't know why I couldn't get into it, but it did kind of get forgotten pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of came out at release, and I don't think a lot of people had placed. Well, a lot of people bought Destiny instead, pretty much.
Cool. Good choice.
I played a lot of that game.
Of Destiny
Yeah.
or Infamous.
I think I got the platinum in that as well.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
it was a long platinum to get, but the second playthrough was really fun because you had an idea of all the. I liked how you could run up the buildings on that one.
Yeah, it was fun. Great traversal. And
Yeah.
it was in Seattle, so that's kind of neat. I mean, I'd only been to Seattle a couple of times, but it was neat to go to a couple of the places I recalled, and they were, in there. So that's cool.
Cool. We'll go for it, Jared.
Geometry Wars 3 Dimensions. I like a good twin stick shooter, and I don't think either of you guys really liked either one of them. Geometry Wars is one I had on Xbox 360, and all of them have like a 4-player mode, and the games have a lot of lights. They're like fireworks on your screen. It's just real fun. The bosses are a lot of fun, and Geometry Wars 3 specifically had really a good challenge with the boss fights, and it got really interesting as you progress through the game because the levels switched up quite a bit.
So kind of like Hatsune Miku, where it makes your eyes bleed.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is neon.
That's a eye bleeding game. It's very neon colors and
It's like
geometry
asteroids on
things
crack.
and geometric shapes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have played that once or twice. I just couldn't see myself coming back to play it more than once or twice, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I played a lot of Geometry Wars 2. I never played the first one. That was a 360 exclusive, I think. But I jumped in at the second one, and the third one came out to all, PS4 and Xbox One, and probably PC. But yeah,
It's
I'll
one of
probably
those.
buy the next one if they release another.
Wasn't that like an Xbox arcade game back on 360
Yeah, the
or
first
something?
one. I think
Yeah.
it was. Well, even the second one. I don't think the second one came to PlayStation.
I don't think so.
I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure it did not.
Those were kind of big though. The third one did kind of came out and disappear.
Yeah, nobody talked about it. A lot of people I remember talking about Geometry Wars. Maybe the first one. I don't know about the second one, and nobody talked about the third one. And I think it's very underrated because a lot of people like twin stick shooters.
Right.
Why not go with one of the pioneers of, this last couple of generations?
Cool. Well, let's see. I still haven't just really fully decided. I'm just gonna throw them out there.
Well, since you have so many, maybe you should do 2 on each of R1.
No. I'll just list off some like honorable mentions later.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Mirror's Edge Catalyst, the sequel to the also underrated game but cult followed Mirror's Edge. The
I don't know
sequel.
why I've never played any of those games because they
I
look like
played a
something
demo.
I'd enjoy.
I think they're great.
I think
yeah.
I think there's a demo of Mirror's Edge if you want to play that, Dave.
Well, Catalyst, that's on
Or
PS4
Catalyst, yeah.
because the old one's on a 360 PS3 game.
Yeah.
So Catalyst came out and did not get a lot of good reviews. It was kind of middling 7s and stuff, but I really liked it. I thought it looked really cool. I thought it played cool. There was some kind of combat issues in certain parts of the game, but overall, man, I really, really enjoyed it, and I don't understand all the hate that critics gave it. So I mean, you can buy that game new on PSN right now for like $4.99, but
Wow.
Wow.
it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
It's an EA game developed by DICE. I think it's cool. Anyway, I would recommend playing through it. So I think I have it on disc actually.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I think you did
Yeah.
buy it on disc.
But anyway, we'll say that's my number 5.
Yeah, that's a game I actually. It's one of those games that's always passed me by, but looks like it could be kind of fun.
It's just kind of different. It looks different. That's one thing I really appreciate about it. Just the style is just kind of cool. Anyway,
So the first one had a lot of like endurance levels that after you beat the story, right? Where it's like just geometric shapes that you're trying to figure out how to traverse. Was
don't-
that in the sequel as well?
I don't remember doing that after that.
I watched
Playing
I
much
watched
after
some
that.
streams of it, and there's some wild, crazy stuff. The levels actually looked like kind of arcadey.
Well,
Like
all the
if you wanted to
levels,
go into an arcade machine and play Mirror's Edge, that's what it would be.
they're all kind of like that because of the style of the game. Because like the world's white and then everything's kind of weirdly color coded,
Yeah.
so it's just kind of like that.
No, no, to the extreme. To the
Well,
extreme. Like I know what the
He
game
works
looks
his
like.
mic like a
I've played it little
vandal.
bit. Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, I don't really. The first one is not as in my head as much as this one, Catalyst. But even that one was like that's a long time ago. I haven't played that in years, really.
Yeah, probably since
It came
a
out.
little bit after launch.
Yeah, I like busted through it really quick. Anyway, number 4, Dave.
I would have to say Mafia 3. I thought that was a great game, and I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the music and like. It didn't do anything particularly groundbreaking, but it was an interesting story, and it was fun to play as the character, and just drive around listening to all that classic rock. And then the other reason it got on my list was when I was looking at games, and it only got a 68 on Metacritic, and I'm
Wow.
like, man, I would definitely give that game like in the 80s.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it
I think,
more than
like,
Grand Theft
a
Auto
lot
5.
of- I think
Yeah,
like
it
a
was
lot
like-
of games that got bad reviews like that. It came out very buggy.
Yeah,
Very, very buggy.
I think the other thing is as well, it's like I actually kind of enjoyed that it was a lot tighter than Grand Theft Auto. Like the side missions there wasn't as many, and there wasn't, it was more story driven.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I
own,
just really enjoyed that game. That was fun, a lot of fun.
I own the disc of it, and I think we got it free on PS
Yeah, we got it
Plus
free.
once upon a
I
time.
mean, I think
Yeah, we
I
got it
beat
free.
I think I beat it.
Yeah, I didn't. I played through part of it, and I really enjoyed the story. Just I don't know, something with the gameplay just didn't mesh with me.
I like the way it ends.
Yep.
Um,
But yeah, that got on the list mainly because of its Metacritic score of 68. And just in case you're keeping track, Infamous Second Son has a Metacritic of 81. I looked up at the Metacritics of all the games that are on my list, and that was actually the highest one.
I should look up mine as I go.
Oh, I'm
'cause,
pretty sure
yeah,
Mirror's
I
Edge is
don't know any
bad.
of them.
Mirror's Edge was
Yeah.
69,
There you go.
so it's definitely Ian game. 69,
dude.
dude.
Yeah,
All right, Jerry, what's your number 4?
it's a VR game. It's The Room VR: A Dark Matter.
The Room?
The Room. Yeah, that's
Romper Room?
That's the puzzle game,
brought
right?
up- Yeah, I've brought up The Room a lot over the years because I've been playing the mobile games. There's like 3 of them, and I played all 3 of them and loved every single one
I
of
think
them.
you got my wife onto those, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And the VR game is really good. It's just more of The Room, but with VR in mind. With I use the Move controller, so a lot of the motion controls went with it, and it's just beautiful. It's probably one of the better looking VR games that I played.
Cool. I didn't realize you
Well-
got. Didn't you also get a mobile originally?
No, that one was only released in VR.
Oh, okay.
And so one cool part about the Room games is that there's certain segments of it where you go inside of one of the really small boxes or whatever that you're going inside of. And you in mobile it only looks so neat, but when you're in VR and you're inside of like a giant clock or something like that, and you look out and you can see the room that you're inside the clock and all the parts inside of it, and it's just really, really cool. It really shows the grand scale of the whole game, and I just really enjoyed the puzzles. The puzzles are always pretty challenging. This one I found a little easier to play than the mobile ones. I don't know if it's because the screen was in the whole, everywhere I looked, or if it was just because it, self-explanatory. But some of the puzzles were actually really challenging.
Cool. Awesome. Is that your only VR game?
Kind of.
Kind of. I don't think I put any VR
To be
games.
continued.
I didn't
Oh,
even
and
think
Geometry
about.
Wars 3 had an 85.
Oh,
by
did
the
it?
way.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. My number 4. I think these are all great games. Hey. One game that didn't get enough love, but is one of the greatest shooters of all time this generation, is Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash. I think squirt
That
guns.
almost made it onto my list too.
Squirt. I kind of was wondering if it would be on Dave's list, but I think it's so much fun, and obviously a little pervy. It's a lot pervy, but man, it's such a solid game.
Yeah, it's such a solid little shooter, and it's just a lot. It's a lot of fun to play.
I don't think I could get away with playing that one in my house
Probably not.
without being completely shamed.
Oh well, you're not gonna like what's on my list then.
Oh, I have a feeling something with the word strip in it is there.
But yeah, no, I had never, Senran series. Didn't know anything about it, so I took a gamble and bought it. Really enjoyed it. Completed that game, and I have purchased since then another version from their series. Just
Didn't
as pervy.
You get the Peach Beach Splash that came with something? What did it come with?
Oh yeah, it came with like a soundtrack and a bunch of stuff. I have a box somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's like
stuff.
a collector's set. Didn't it
Yeah.
have like a shirt and all kinds of stuff in it?
No, mine wasn't the shirt one.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get the shirt.
Yeah.
There was a bigger one than the one I got.
Okay.
I didn't get that one.
Yeah, it was super cheap.
I think
when
it
you
had
bought
I have like a Blu-ray of like a movie or something. Like they saw the cut scenes together, and then it's like the soundtrack, and then some other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a really. I really enjoyed that game too.
It's
Didn't it
always
have
funny
a
to
VR
stream
mode?
it, huh?
Didn't that have a VR mode
No.
added to it?
That's DOA.
I
Yeah.
thought you could
Okay.
undress them in Peach Beach Splash in VR, wasn't it?
No, that's
Wasn't
DOA.
the-
Okay.
Oh, that is DOA.
I'm pretty sure that's DOA. You can undress them in Peach Beach Splash, and it's weird, but no, that's DOA that has the VR thing. I think. I'm pretty sure.
There is VR for Peach Beach Splash.
Is there? Well, I don't.
VR mode.
I don't need
Let's
to do that.
interact. Yes, it is the pervy one
Oh,
where
is
you
it?
can.
I remember
Where you can pose them and dress
Did I
them.
do it? I don't remember if I did it
Yeah.
then. Did I
Yeah,
do
and
it?
you got super weirded out and actually stopped. I think I
remember.
remember you saying that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, basically it's
I
just
plead
in
the
the
fifth.
it's just in the dressing room.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, it's the groping sim, I think.
Yeah, with the little magic wavy hands. Yeah, I seem to recall that.
Yeah, so you have a VR game on there, Ian.
Oh,
on the
there you go.
list.
That's barely a VR game. That's like diorama mode.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not saying to get it for that. I'm saying to get it for its very tight shooting mechanics.
That
Yeah,
could go
I-
wrong too, couldn't it?
Very
Yeah.
tight.
I
Yes.
did
Yeah.
play it a little bit at your house, and it had real good controls.
I think
was
Dave
is
beat it.
actually-
solid, yeah.
It's a very fun. It is actually a very fun kind of shooter game.
It's also kind of a cool idea, like water guns and all these different kind of water guns and water balloon launchers, and you have water jetpacks. I don't know. It's just kind of a cool, creative, different idea that you hadn't seen.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right, Dave, number 3.
Number 3 on my list. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Oh yeah, it's a great one.
That was a brilliant game.
A
That
Jared
was-
game that Dave played.
It was a walking. Not only did I play it, I think I platinumed it as well.
So remember, Dave had to talk me into going back into it because I was having troubles getting into it, and then I deleted my save and started it over again, and I really enjoyed it the second time through.
Yeah, if you haven't played it, it gets Metacritic of 78, but it's a really eerie and moving game. It's not world like it, and I really kind of liked the story of people just disappearing at random. So
I think I might have installed it, jumped in, and then quickly jumped out.
yeah, you were like, done,
Nah,
ding.
not for me. Not me. Not it.
That's fair enough.
You can see why some of these games, though, you like some people would play and some wouldn't. Like, I understand why some people wouldn't play Peach Beach Splash because it's a little on the pervy side, so you might be not cool, to have.
Yeah,
Something like,
it's funny that, isn't it? Like how that works.
something like Mafia 3, though. I mean, well, I think we all tried it for the most
Yeah.
part and played.
Yeah. We all tried it. Dipped in a little bit. I don't know if Aaron did, but I know all three of us did.
I think wasn't John around still then? I think he
Yeah.
played it. Anyway, everyone's gone to the Rapture. Did you platinum it too, Jared?
No,
No.
I don't believe so. Maybe,
Maybe.
possibly. I don't. No, because I didn't want to look around for all the radios.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I dodged that one.
Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't platinum it necessarily. You don't need to. But it's a fun story.
Yeah.
All right, Jared. Number
Yeah.
3.
Number 3 is Blaster Master Zero 2 on the Switch.
That's Master 2 on the Switch.
Yeah, totally. That's Master 2.
Why 2 and not 1?
Well, the first one, I feel like a lot of people played and praised it. I actually looked on Metacritic and like user scores. There's like 130 or something like that, and it had a pretty decent score. The second one actually has a better score, but that's only because like over 100 people less played it or reviewed it.
Right.
So I don't think like when that came out, I think people are just like, oh, I played the first one. It looks just like it, so I don't really need to play the second one. But the story was really interesting. It was a really good sequel.
I also would say like that first one came out when the Switch store was in its infancy.
Yeah.
And then just how out of control that store has become.
Well, yeah, because then there was like, oh, what should I buy? There's only a few games and a couple of indies. And now when Blaster Master Zero 2 came out, you're right. The whole store is filled with mobile games and just so much garbage. It's so hard to cycle through that store. Like every week I like to look through the sales, but I get bored after a little while because there's like 700 or 800 titles in that
Right.
deals section, and 90% of them are just mobile games ported to the Switch.
A lot of times
So
I feel
like
that's because I feel like because of like how games launch now, there's so many games that like you're never gonna get to them all, and then you kind of like wait for like someone to review them, and then if that kind of group doesn't like them, everyone kind of just jumps over it, and then But it could be a great game. Just because a certain group didn't like it doesn't mean,
Well, plus those two games are only $10 each, and they go on sale every once in a while for like $5. So they're totally worth it. I was a huge fan of the original Blaster Master. I played a couple of like the PlayStation ones. They were mediocre, but these Switch ones that were made are like, I think the Blaster Master Zero was kind of a remake of the first one, and then the Blaster Master Zero 2 was like a direct sequel from it, and it's a really interesting story behind all the characters in it.
Cool. I will probably never play it. I was never a big fan of the original Blaster Master.
Oh, I couldn't. That was one of the games I just always played. I mean, back in our NES days, like here's the game I get for 3 months or whatever. So you end up playing it for a long time.
I remember renting it a couple times, but that's about it.
Yeah, and Blaster Master Zero 2 has a 85 on Metacritic.
Oh, there you go.
But that was 11 reviews from critics.
What should I do for 3? Well, I'm gonna do the game I just beat, actually, Greedfall.
Well, yeah, I saw you beat that. I wanted to know more about it. It's not a game I know anything about.
It's a small studio, and they made. It's not an independent game, but it's a smaller studio, but it's a big kind of RPG. So, and I would say it's along the lines of the original Dragon Age Origins or Witcher 2. So it's not completely open world, and it has a lot of kind of weird world design. But the game itself has a lot more. There's a lot of dialogue. I mean, some RPGs they've kind of gotten rid of that, but this still has a lot of choices, and you make choices, and you know make all side with certain factions, and there's a lot of that. And it was just kind of a little more old school way, I would say, older style than like a lot of the newer stuff. And then you're basically kind of in this like reimagined world. It's like it doesn't take place in America. It's like this reimagined world, but it's all kind of colonial, pirate themed, nautical.
That might be a bit off-putting for me. I'm not a big fan of the pirate.
So that's the
nautical stuff.
There's a faction of pirates, and there's a faction of merchants. There's a faction of soldiers. There's all these different factions. In this kind of old Victorian style, but it doesn't take place there. But then there's all this monster stuff. So there's all these monsters, and then you can have guns, swords, or magic, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. It was about 20, 30-hour game. There's a smaller kind of RPG. I didn't finish everything in it, but I did play through. It has multiple endings, obviously. I mean, nowadays all the RPGs are made by these huge companies, and it's kind of cool to have these kind of still like a third person, pretty well done, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. I don't probably Jared would be the only one in the group that would really enjoy it, I'd say. But
is the battles more action based?
Yeah, it's still an action RPG. It's not like
Okay.
turn based or anything. It just has that kind of more dialogue. You do a lot more dialogue and walking
dialogue
around.
movie. Okay,
But there's a lot of fights.
Maybe someday.
There's a lot of fights. So I enjoyed that, and I funny enough, I recommended it to Shane, and Shane actually, my brother Shane, he bought it and beat it too. So I mean,
Okay, good.
my recommendation did work on one person, but I think it's kind of
Yeah.
underrated. I mean, I wouldn't say it's this great game, like it's awesome. I mean, it's clearly not polished like a AAA game.
Yeah, it's got a few warts.
That's okay.
It's not buggy, but it doesn't look as AAA. It has some issues. But yeah, Greedfall. I would recommend it. If you're just looking for like a solid RPG, I'd recommend it. All right, Dave. Number 2.
Number 2. Okay. Number 2 for me is Akiba's Strip.
There it
I
is.
knew it.
Or Akiba's Trip, depending on how you break it.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's meant to be Akiba's Strip.
Since that's what you do in the game.
But it's kind of like Peach Beach Splash, except it's a little more pervy, and the battle mechanic involves you stripping the characters of their clothes, which is just such a stupid kind of fun battle mechanic. I'm surprised that have you tried this, Ian?
I still haven't tried it. No.
Oh man,
Someday.
you should try it.
Maybe.
It's a silly game. It only gets a 57 on Metacritic.
Oh, wow.
But I really enjoyed it and thought it was a lot of fun. So I highly recommend it if you've got like a little bit. If you just want a stupid kind of little pervy game.
Now, how did you come across that? Was that a library game?
I can't remember why I bought it.
Oh,
It's
you
a
bought
weird.
it.
It's a really weird choice, but yeah, I bought it and I can't remember why, whether it was a studio that had done something I liked before, or it was one of these. If you like this, then you'll like that.
Because like a lot of those Japanese games are kind of hard to find in like a Fred's or a games. They don't really always show up.
It was one I had. It was one I had to go out the way and order. I can't remember,
Oh, okay.
but I just don't remember why it got on my radar. But
Like one of the games you played right before it was Senran Kagura's Peach V Splash.
Oh,
And
maybe.
so you're probably got
thought
an
you
interest,
played it
or maybe
before
it was
that.
like
I paid Peach Beach way after that because I got Akiba's Trip, and then I got Hatsumi Miku after that because I was like, oh, I really enjoyed the Akiba's Trip. I kind of want some more Japanesiness
yeah.
in my life, and
Let's cheeseball it up.
but yeah, I mean, it's just fun going around Akiba and like looking at the world. The world is pretty fun and well drawn out, and then the fighting mechanics just it's kind of like Streets of Rage fighting mechanic. You know, it's not that complicated, really.
It's like a beat 'em up, basically.
Yeah, essentially, it's a 3D cartoon beat 'em up where you take the clothes off.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey.
Sweet.
And I love the fact that when you get them naked, does the Japanese thing where it's like the little stars that cover them.
Oh, right.
Funny.
That
Kinda
happens
like
in
Peach
PB.
Beach
That
Splash,
happens there
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But it's a fun little pervy game if you're.
You can usually find it pretty cheap.
Yeah, I want to say I didn't pay that much for it. It was like $20 or something. And what's funny actually is it gets 9 out of 10 on Steam,
Of course it does.
but on Metacritic it's like 57.
That's
So, but
Uh,
yeah,
Well, the user scores are usually more telling than reviewer scores.
but yeah, I just if you want a silly game that's fun to play for, it's just great.
All right, Jared. What do you have for your number 2?
Dreams on PS4.
Dream. That's heavily underrated, I imagine, at this point.
Well, it's got an 89 on Metacritic. That's the highest on my list. But I feel that this is a game that came out and I mean there was like one podcast I listened to that talked about it for like a month, and now like even following the Twitter posts from the creators and stuff like that. Yeah, they make awesome stuff, but nobody's following or liking their stuff, and it's wild because some of these creations are so amazing. And it's fun to jump in there and just dig through the random stuff people have made. I still haven't had a chance to try out the VR mode. They added a VR mode, and people are making VR games in it too. So I need to still spend more time with it. It's like I bought it before the game came out, so I could get it for what I think $30 for the whole thing, and it goes on sale pretty often right now for $30. So it's worth every cent. That game is magic. If I was a teenager with that game, I'd just be on it creating stuff all the time. Like all that spare time I had back in those days. Now being a parent and all that stuff, I'm like, oh, maybe my daughter can pay attention to it someday.
I
And
think
just
we
spend time
knew
creating things.
that this game, while awesome, wasn't gonna hit.
Yeah,
I think I think everyone kind of like, man, this is so cool and the tools are so powerful, but how is this gonna work?
yeah, and
Yeah.
the music tools they just enhanced the music tools, added more instruments and stuff like that. It's really cool listening to music people have composed on it. So I mean, it has tools kind of for everything.
I mean, I enjoyed the beta and I was gonna buy it, but I was like, I'm not. Am I gonna really play this? I don't know. I was torn. It's one of those things. I don't know.
Yeah, I knew I wouldn't put in enough time, and I don't have the effort to make a game of my own. So.
I feel bad because it's like it's really ambitious and cool what they did. It's just I don't know if I'm gonna spend any time with it.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's a good
definitely
choice.
understand that. Yeah. I think that's a solid one to put on a list like this. Go play it.
Go play Dreams. So how many do we do? This one and this one. We've done 3. Oh, this is my number 2. All right.
Yeah.
Which one? I'll do this one. So they didn't make a Saints Row game this generation. Instead,
I know.
they made Agents of Mayhem. And while that was a bit of a letdown, I really liked Agents of Mayhem a lot. And
I enjoyed that.
I played the shit out of that game. It was way better than fucking Crackdown because I also tried that game, and that game was trash. And even though it was kind of like you selected heroes and you went into the world, you had a team of 3 and you kind of did different things. I thought all the characters were cool and different, and I kind of liked the humor was okay. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't Saints Row level, but it was still fun, and I like all the kind of G.I. Joe Transformer nods, and it was super colorful, and I don't know. I really liked that game. I thought it was super fun. So Agents of Mayhem, I wish it got more love.
I second that. The only problem with that game was sometimes it was a little repetitive.
Yeah, That's kind of Saints Row though in general though.
in areas, yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun and I enjoyed it. I think I beat that game too.
I'm pretty sure you did, and you can find that game for like $3-4 now. It's super cheap. But I
Yeah.
like the characters. A lot of characters. You had different costumes, and you could.
I thought
could
I had a
unlock.
copy of that, but I obviously don't.
You might have borrowed it from me.
Yeah.
Anyway, Agents of Mayhem by Volition, who are working on the new Saints Row that I'm sure is coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X soon.
Woo!
But-
As long as it's got a dildo sword and a dubstep cannon, I'm in.
I guess we'll find out. But yeah, Agents of Mayhem. That's my number 2. Woohoo!
Mm.
Very
So that means I'm on my number 1.
Yes,
good.
correct.
Be accurate.
Gonna drop a big one from a high height.
High heights.
Yeah, actually, my number 1 is a VR game,
Oh
and it's Farpoint VR.
no.
Because
Okay.
when played with that controller, it is the most immersive VR game I've played, and I really, really enjoyed it. That controller, the way they integrated it into the game, so even though you're in the VR, you lift it up and it looks like you're looking down the sights, and it just played well. It played like a good first-person shooter, except in VR, and I don't think I've really encountered anything else that was quite as polished or as just as seamless as that was. That controller, just the controller and the game together were just great, really.
I feel like there's a little difficulty spike at the end.
Yeah, I'd give it that. I would give you that, but just for the sheer feeling of being in the VR and like holding that gun and it's got the 2 handles
Yeah.
and being able to lift it up to where you'd be looking down the sights, and it did it in VR. It was just it's one of the few VR games where you forget you're using the controller.
Right.
It just feels more immersive. So, but yeah, that was a great game, and again, it's another one that only got a Metacritic of 71. Probably maybe because it's not the longest game, but then most VR games aren't like 16-hour epics.
Right.
So, and I like watching you get attacked by the spiders. Yeah,
That's just in the beginning. It goes away. I mean, I
I
did
know.
beat that game.
I know
Come
you
on
did,
now.
but
Come on.
I just
now.
remember that you having issues with those spider things.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. I mean, it was fine.
I played the first level in the game and I really enjoyed it. I borrowed it from you, Ian, but I didn't find time to play it, so I just gave it back.
Like a lot of games I give you.
Yeah, that's the theme of my life these days. I don't know if I'm gonna make the time to play this one or find the time to do it.
Yeah, I'm
Top-
not even sure.
Top 5 games I gave Jared that he gave back.
I'm not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
sure what
I
my
probably have
aim
at least
controller
5.
is.
Yeah, I gave him back the aim controller too. I really wanted to play it, but I just couldn't at that point.
Yeah. Oh, I highly recommend it, Jared. It's a fun game, and it's definitely worth. If you like VR games, it's definitely a good VR experience.
Yeah,
You just need like a couple, like
someday.
2, 3 solid, maybe 3 or 4, but like solid like play sessions.
Yeah, I would play it in hour to 2 hour play sessions, because after a while the VR just got heavy in the heart, and I just wasn't. That was about all I could take in the VR.
yeah, I gotcha. I can spend a lot of time in VR without feeling like it's discomforting or anything like that. So
Yeah, that
that's
was one of the other
usually
reasons
not an
it was a
issue for
good
me.
VR game. Was I didn't get much. It wasn't it was one of the few games I could actually sit there and play in VR and not get sick.
Yeah, it has a
Yeah,
pretty good.
good.
They did a pretty good job with that whole motion of the game. Because
Yeah,
there's some games where I kind of start to feel kind of ugh.
Well, Dave, when you're playing VR, do you use the snap controls or do you use like fluid motion? Like when you-
I don't remember what I had it set on. I know I remember trying both. I think I kind of had a hybrid where it wasn't like full snap, but it was like some, it's like a 15-degree snap kind of
yeah,
thing.
pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like 45-degree snap is really disorienting.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it changes your perspective so much.
I did
Wow.
Fluid, I think, in that game. I went all the way through Fluid.
Yeah, I do that on all my VR games. I have to do that. Otherwise, the snap just confuses me. Yeah. So that's your number one.
I think Ryan, he's hoping to get the AIM controller for Christmas still, because he wants to play that game.
It's still so expensive. You'd expect
Yeah.
that thing to come down in price. I don't even know if they're producing them anymore, so they just whatever's left
Probably
they're
not.
selling out.
Well, it's
No.
basically
Yeah.
a controller. I mean, a controller is like $60, so
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking for that game for the longest time, like Farpoint with the controller, and
Hmm.
when I it'd been out 6 months when I got it, and it was still full price if you
Yeah.
could find it.
now it just comes with like Firewall. I think it's Firewall in the controller.
Yeah,
Yeah. 0 hour. Didn't we get
Is it-
that? Yeah, we got that free.
We
in
got that
PS
free,
Plus.
and they just had a massive big DLC
Firewall.
drop for that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's one that's pretty fun to play in VR too. But,
Yeah, that
we're
does the
not
same
talking
good,
about that
the
game
good
right now.
gun. If you're talking about
Yeah.
the gun side, it does the same. It does a really good job of that too.
yeah, because it's funny.
Mhm.
I tried using it in Doom VR, and it was just like,
Well, it wasn't designed for it. Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't
Afterthought.
designed to. It just felt really clunky. It really
Yeah.
in some respects it actually highlighted how good like Farpoint was in just like the controls and the immersion.
So maybe your number one is more instead of a game, it's a peripheral for a
There you go.
VR headset.
Most underrated controller.
No,
Yeah,
it-
the most
it's-
underrated
it's the
controller.
It's the two together, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
because
without
it's
the
not
other.
the greatest first-person shooter game. If you were to just play that game not in VR, it'd be like, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be like, but when you add in that controller, it just feels like you're toting a rifle and like going kicking aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
All right,
I agree.
good choice. All right, Jared.
My number one is Brawler, River City Girls.
River City Girls.
Yeah, which user score on Metacritic is very low. It's like 65.
Oh
which
wow.
I don't quite understand that.
Wow.
I think people complain that you need to use money to upgrade your skills and stuff like that, which that's how the original was. You wanted to go and kick the crap out of somebody for a long time and keep getting money and go in and buy, upgrades and skills and stuff like that. So it really sticks to the original formula with really good story. I don't know about really good story, but the characters are really well written, and their voice actors did a really good job. I like the animation style, and the cutscenes were really cool, animated style as well. The game's just oozing with style, and it was a lot of fun to play. So that's one that more people need to play. A lot of people this year were talking about Streets of Rage 4. Which seems to have done a lot of different things. So
Very
I
good.
don't know. If you like brawlers, why skip out on a good brawler like that?
Streets of Rage 4 is great.
Yeah, you did play it.
Yeah, I beat it. I've almost beat it again, but I stopped playing it for some reason.
Yeah, it still hasn't gone on sale, so I haven't picked it up.
It's probably going to be a Game of the Year contender for some people.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
But yeah, River City Girls. Is that kind of like like your River City Ransom art style?
Yeah, it's part of that world, and after you beat the game, you can actually use the two dudes from the first game. So I'm halfway through the game with one of the characters, Kunio, I think is his name. So yeah, it has a lot of replayability. I mean, like a lot of brawlers, you get stunned or and some of the controls just feel kind of dumb, but I think that's just part of the average brawler, where you got to move up and down, otherwise you're gonna get the shit kicked out of you. You got to dodge and do it appropriately, otherwise everything's gonna feel cheap. Originally the brawlers were put in arcades to be really difficult.
Yep, quarter
and take a
suckers.
lot of quarters, and they're still like that, and that's okay. That's what they are.
Yeah. I like them sometimes. Oh.
Yeah. I'm not going out and buying there's the Capcom Brawler mix that you can buy that has like all the final fights and this and that. There's
Right.
a ton of stuff on it. I'm not going out to buy that because I'm not like a super fan of that genre, but I like to buy the games every once in a while.
Yeah, I liked the old Streets of Rage ones where part of what I liked about them was you could sit down and beat them in an afternoon.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like one playthrough was a 2-hour game. You know, the old coin up type ones.
Hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
Cool. All right. So we got a VR game and a brawler. What should I choose for my number one?
Oh,
I hadn't really I haven't really picked what I should. There's so many games that I think didn't get played.
Yeah, there's so many games that came out this generation. It's wild.
mhm.
I'll list some like honorable mentions really quickly. Like Ghost Recon Breakpoint was a huge game that got shit on, and I think is pretty awesome. Which just
A
had a
lot of
massive,
Ubisoft games come out and get shit on and then get revitalized.
had a
so,
massive patch. That's why. Well, that's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a big game, so I didn't really want to pick it, but it's an honorable mention.
How about the Division 2?
Well, that's still
Who
considered.
talks about that one anymore?
It's still a pretty big game though. That
Yeah,
did well. That was around for a while.
I liked it.
Hobbs and Hob was a really good game that I've tried to get you guys to play. I think
I
Jared.
played the demo.
Okay, I think that game's great. That's another honorable mention. Battle Chasers Night War is a great classic RPG, turn-based, but I hate turn-based RPGs, and this one I liked a lot. Like in the, so, and the art style is super cool. But I think my number one is going to be the shark game, Man Eater. Game came out and disappeared, but the game is fucking awesome. You are a shark, and you eat everything and attack and rip off people's arms, and it's great. It's an open world shark attack game.
Didn't that only just come out as well? Like,
it did only just come out, and it's
a
just
month
kind
or two
of
ago.
it's gone. It's just one of those fleeting moments of games. But I would urge you, if you it's fun. It's super fun. I think it's a lot of fun. It's funny. It's really funny. I don't know. I just think it's a cool game. And the premise is, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
It sounds like it's a game that understands what it is.
Oh, it totally understands what it is, and it
Yeah.
plays it up, and you follow this poor baby shark, and as it grows, and you get upgrades and different, you mod it differently. Like you can have different like kind of shark costumes. It's great, and you attack.
Yeah.
You can jump over you can attack boats. It's great. It's good. I enjoy it.
Cool.
I 100% got
Nice.
platinum that game, so
You get that on
Wow.
disc?
Yeah, I do have it on disc. You guys could borrow that one because I found it cheap on disc.
Okay.
That's how I got it. Because it's still kind of expensive new. Generally,
Yeah.
it's not. It hadn't
Didn't
really
it come
come
out
down.
at like 40?
Yeah, it was like a
think it was,
39.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like a $40 game when
$40
it
game.
launched. And I got it for like 20. Like pretty close to release, but it hasn't. I think that was like a fluke for some reason. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I think there was like a week after its release, it went down, and then came back up again, like price wise.
There's not a lot of them out there, so but I would recommend it. Man Eater. It's like it's like just a silly open world game that's fun. Has like a lot of secret passages and collectibles, and I don't know. It's cool. That's my number one.
Sweet.
You guys have any
Yeah.
other honorable mentions?
Ooh, now you asked me that though, I forgot them all.
I had
Yeah,
like
I wish-
Wolfenstein
I
Youngblood.
wish- I wish more people played Resogun out of
Oh,
you
Resogun.
guys, because Resogun was a super good game. That was like a launch title PS4 game.
I
It
have
was
it.
really
I played
good.
it a little bit.
Yeah, I loved it. I played through the main the game several times, and tried it on the hardest difficulty. I'm not that great at the shooter type games. So.
You could argue their entire
that's-
library. Housemarque's
Yeah.
entire library.
Yeah, I've played most of Housemarque's library. Not everything, but
That
a lot of their
Alienation
stuff is
game.
really good. So yeah, I guess most underrated publisher this generation. They had to switch their whole company profile because everybody stopped playing twin stick
Yeah.
twin stick shooters and arcade style games. They had to switch their whole development plan onto. They're releasing a game on PS5 and launch window, I believe.
Which is crazy because they were originally going to do a battle royale, and that game got shit canned, and now
they
they're doing
canned out.
something totally different.
Yeah, there was even like alpha tests and stuff like that. I was part of that Discord server for a little while, but that was only PC testing. so I
like
didn't get in
Next
on that.
Next Machina and
Yeah,
Matterfall.
super good game.
They have a lot of great
Yeah,
games.
yeah. Alien Nation, wasn't that them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Alien Nation was awesome. That's still on my system.
Yeah, Jared and I played quite a bit of that.
Yeah, I played a lot of that. So yeah, Housemark games, go for it.
Dave, you find anything?
I I did find something and now I forgot. I have to look. I see Agents of Mayhem. A Far Cry Primal. That was it.
Okay, I never played that.
Yeah, people. I think another one that got skipped by. I'm not sure if it even got good reviews, but I must admit I was kind of put off by the premise of it. But once Ian bought me a copy of it, and it was absolutely a lot of fun. Probably one of my favorites since I think Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4.
They did something that I've mentioned before, I believe, on this podcast, where I wish developers would reuse environments and just change and develop it. If it's in the same world, why can't they use the same environment? And that's what they did. From what was that part? That was Far Cry 4, right? They just reused that world, or was that 3?
I think it came
I
out after
don't
4,
know enough.
so it's probably 4.
Yeah, so it's Far Cry 4's world. They just recycled like the terrain and stuff like that, and changed it according to the time that it took place during. So it's essentially the same map, I believe. And I honestly wish more developers did do that to save a lot of time, because most of those maps are massive. They're huge. And sometimes the games they make afterwards might be sequels that traverse over the same areas. Red Dead 2 actually did that. Like once you get far enough, you'll go back into the area that you did with Red Dead 1. So like that kind of stuff is really awesome.
Well, isn't Mafia 3 have like its world is part of Grand Theft Auto? Like it's an old
I
piece
don't
of the
know.
map? I thought there was something about that too, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
but that would be great. But that'd be a great way to save dev time. I mean, if they already have the terrain set and they just need to swap out, like maybe update the buildings a little bit graphic wise, or things change over time, so they can modify it accordingly. And I think that'd be a good resource for developers to use.
Maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much. I really enjoyed Far Cry 4.
Well, that's what they did.
Yeah,
That's what they
Far Cry 4 was great.
isn't that one Far Cry like Far Cry 5 and then Far Cry the offshoot one?
New Dawn or what?
New
Yeah.
Dawn. Isn't that like the same kind of map ish?
Yes, Far Cry 5's like kind of current day-ish, and then Far Cry New Dawn is like I don't know how many years in the future.
But it's that same map, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the same map.
That's
It's just
awesome.
like day glow for some reason in New Dawn.
Oh, funny. Neon color.
Well,
That's
new-
what happens when nukes go
Nukes
off.
drop.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
the
the
other
world
one.
ends.
I had Rage 2. I think that's
Yeah.
a fucking great game. I still haven't beaten the first one. I find the first one kind of hard to get into, but Rage 2, man, I thought that was a fucking
I
great
forgot
game.
you played that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Neon Doom.
I keep thinking of buying it when it gets cheap.
Oh, I have it
I
on
mean,
disc.
it
You
goes
can
on
borrow
sale
it.
often.
It's great, yeah.
Okay.
I have a lot of games on disc, guys.
Might have to do that. Yeah, geez. I won't have to buy a new game for a year. I mean, I have the PS5 on the way, and
You can play them all
I
on
mean,
PS5,
I'll just get to play all PS4 games. Yeah, let's do it.
PS4
I mean, I
and a
did
half.
pre-order Cyberpunk 2077,
Yeah.
so I don't know how much time I'll have.
Yeah, I was gonna do that with my next paycheck, since I already pre-ordered
Yeah, I mean,
Watch
it
Dogs.
makes sense. If you can get $10 off the game, you might as well pre-order it. Really,
Yeah,
these days.
if it's a
I
game
mean,
you really want, then yeah, do it.
yeah, I mean, you're at least 95% sure you're gonna buy the game. You might as well pre-order it and save
That game's looking
$10.
ridiculous. Not only does it have original design cars in it, it actually has like actual cars in it. You know,
The
So
Porsche.
there's a
What
Porsche,
Porsche was that?
and then that was a 911. But then Keanu's
Yeah.
bikes, his line of bikes he does,
Oh
Well,
yeah, I
they
know.
did
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
the
They're-
name
that-
of them, but I know the ones you're talking about.
they're in the game. I mean, I wonder what other stuff's in it, but very exciting.
Yeah, but that I have a feeling that's not going to be a very underrated game.
No, probably not.
Nope.
Overly hyped, and it's gonna be buggy as hell, and
Yeah,
everyone's
overly hyped
gonna review bomb it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We waited for this.
Yep.
Outrage gamers.
I beat it in only 20 hours. What? Yeah. Did
Yeah,
you do any of the side content? No.
No.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be one of those games where you're like, honestly, you think it's a side quest, it's like or it's like a main quest, but it ends up being a side quest because just how the
Like
level
The
of
Witcher
detail.
3?
Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey does a lot of that. Well, boys, that's our underrated lists. Maybe Aaron's still having bad internet. Maybe that's why he's not on.
Oh
today.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was having issues, wasn't he?
So
On Sunday, so
rest in peace, Aaron.
Mm. Yeah. Use your phone as a hotspot.
Yeah. Do you guys have any? I don't know. You guys any what do we call them? Couch co-optionals?
co-optionals. Well,
Jeez.
I'm like, this is not a review or an endorsement, but this is just a reminder that the new Borat movie comes out on the 23rd on Amazon Prime, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. At worst, it'll be a shit show, but it'll be better than the presidential debate. So
Is that going to be a $20 release, like early rental thing?
I don't believe so. I think it's just part of Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Cool.
So that should be pretty fun.
Brendan and I finally finished Watchmen on HBO. I think it's overrated. But it's interesting. The music is great. It's shot really well. It's acted really well. I don't know. I don't understand what all the hype was, but maybe I'm just like worn out on superhero stuff. Is probably what it is. But
Yeah, you got a bit jaded.
it's not a don't watch. It's just I don't know.
So, in your opinion, all the movies being delayed to next year is a good thing?
I guess.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about superhero stuff or anything.
Well, maybe, but like a lot of if you read a lot of the news have been saying like the Disney investors want more releases, more streaming releases. So I wonder if like they will actually release Black Widow, like they did Mulan. So we'll see. There might be more.
Yeah, they're still trying to figure that one out, aren't they? They've not got enough data yet to figure out exactly what they need to do to please everyone.
Because there's a movie. What movie's coming out in December? This is actually going to theaters. There's something I can't remember what it is now, but
Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. What that? Talk about that trash fire of a film.
Yeah, the trailers.
And actually, if anyone's listening that likes Akira, then there's a 4K IMAX showing of it doing the rounds of the US.
Oh wow!
I wanted to go see it, but it was only down in Salem.
Oh damn!
That's
yeah,
weird.
but it's moving around the place, so I keep an eye on it. But it came out September 24th, so it's still being shown at various places.
Okay.
If you like that movie,
Jared,
yeah, I like that movie a lot.
You have any recommendations for the peeps?
Yeah, I guess a podcast I've been subscribed to for several months now. It's called The Story Collider. It's like stories that take place in science, but it's like it can be a story about romance, but it just turns into somebody's career path. It's really, really interesting. A varied group of people because they just kind of have people there. They even train people to tell stories and stuff like that, so they can be part of the show. I guess they do live stuff, storycollider.com, but I really like that podcast. It's short and sweet. Sometimes it'll be like a 20-minute podcast with like 2 stories or something like that on it. So it's a quick listen and it's enjoyable. And something you'll like, Ian, is their very short intro is recorded by Ghost.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a fun podcast. It's a quick listen, so it's what we're gonna lose 20 minutes of your time just to try and listen to it.
Cool. There was one more thing I just remembered. The new Deftones album is really good. If you're a Deftones fan, I 100% recommend it. It's not doing anything new or pushing any new boundaries. It's just a solid, well-made Deftones album, and I recommend it.
I like a few of their songs.
Yeah. I've been listening to the Toy Dolls. I don't. They're an 80s punk band.
Okay.
and they're very silly, and I kind of like it.
That's cool.
Okay, fun.
I'm not sure it's I'd recommend it as good music, but it's fun music.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, like no effects had a bunch of goofy lyrics and stuff like that. Is it like goofy like that, or is it goofier?
Some of it's goofy like that, and some of it. But the lead guitarist he can actually rip. He's a pretty good guitarist.
Okay,
So
fun.
Are they on Spotify?
probably, yeah.
The
Cool.
toy dolls.
All right, boys.
Yep.
Well, let's see. What is our little outro thing here that I don't have it remembered?
It says
Hey!
boop
What?
boop.
Boop-a-doop. I want to thank you all for
Yeah.
listening and remind you that you can you can leave feedback on Twitter, Facebook, Gramter, Instagram. I have it written. I'm trying not to be like that. I don't know. Who cares? No one's going to
Instabug.
write us. No one's going to write us. You could write us at Couch Co-op Shows, but you won't. That's all one word, no hyphen.
That's okay.
Let's just like berate them.
We're
and
we're
say,
not we're not waiting, but
We're not
it's
waiting.
something to say.
Just write Ian.
We we record like once every other week, once every other month at this point. I don't know. We're such a
Yeah, once every blue moon.
we're hanging on by a thread here.
Yeah, we still like to get together.
Actually, I am doing an interview with a streamer. His streaming name is Kenna Wolf, and I'm going to be doing an interview with him later this week. So but I'll post that next week. But
Okay.
so there'll be another kind of, he's a little bit bigger streamer. Not super big, but hi, Ellen.
Ian
Anyway.
says hi.
Anyway, yeah, so that's coming up. We'll tease that. Anyway, I want to remember to please subscribe, share, and leave us feedback on iTunes. That'd be great. I want to thank you all for joining me here on the couch. I want to thank Jared and Dave.
Yes, sir.
Whoop.
And,
You're welcome.
And Aaron, he's here in our hearts, in our thoughts. Maybe he'll make it next time. For Couch Co-op, I'm Ian, reminding you to please be excellent to each other.
Nice.
Couch Co-op.
Ian's rocking out, and I feel like we're just. Don't know what Jared's doing.
Couch Co-op.
Yeah, closing. I'm gonna go to bed here soon. I'm a little all tired.